Okay, cool. It's been a long time. It has been a really long time. Natural disasters happen. You know, last time we logged off, I was like wishing you guys well against Helene. And a week and a half later.
Yeah,
Milton.
if that, yeah, we made it.
Yeah,
We're
thankfully
here.
you guys are all good. We're
Pairs up.
yeah, I know, dude. The poor Trop.
I know.
Obviously, we're all U Tampa graduates. It's UT now, though. You can't call it U Tampa anymore. Or no,
True.
it's U Tampa,
Other
not
way.
UT.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That shows you how invested I've been. But in all seriousness, like we are, full support to the Tampa area. Obviously, Arrow and you guys are still there. Sucks to see what happened, but also, twice now again, Tampa's avoided worst case scenario somehow, some way. I'm a believer in the burial grounds. Obviously, though, there's still a lot of people left struggling, so there's not much viewership on here, but whatever people can do, even if it's just spreading word around to people about getting help to everybody who was affected. There was definitely a lot that went on, in especially the St. Pete area and just a lot of places along the coast. So, thinking about Tampa, big time, love Tampa. On a brighter note, though, since we've been gone, I became a member of the Costco guys.
Good.
So,
Sean brings the boom.
Big
Confirmed.
moment.
Can we just get you to do that on camera real quick?
It should say Sean at the Lodge Pod.
Yeah, I should have told them that. I didn't
The
even know
Lodge
they knew my
Pod brings the
name.
boom.
You're like, hey, you kid, you Tampa sweatshirt.
That's exactly how it went. I was just walking around filming them, and they were like, it was me and the other dude was Matt, and AJ looks at us and he goes, Barstool Golf, Tampa, you guys are in this, come on. We're like, no, we're just here to record. He's like, nope.
That's hilarious.
They must have said boom 150 times while they were walking around. It was insane.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah,
Dude,
I mean,
like a year,
overall, though, they were nice people. I give
when
them
they
credit
fall
for what
off,
they're
they're
doing.
never going to be able to say boom ever again, and they're never going to want to hear that word.
That's gonna be like
Yeah,
that's gonna be PTSD down the road.
I know.
Like,
Dude, the song was even stuck in my head too. Like after we recorded, because they were like singing it as we were doing it.
That is insane.
And then I was like, my dance on there was long. It was even longer that they filmed for. Like right in the beginning of the video, you could see me like asking like, how much longer do I have to do this?
So they live their brand then for sure. It sounds like
They do, yeah. I
Like
mean,
an
they're
act.
not. It's not really an act necessarily. So good for them. Wish them the best, but.
they'll be back. Should have asked to get them on.
Dude, they will be. They actually came back later in the day because they forgot to film something. And then, so like 3 hours after they had left, I'm sitting at my desk and all I hear is boom.
I bet you Eric goes as AJ for Halloween, and he gets
You
that
should.
double chunk chocolate cookie.
No, I actually have one of the Rays giveaways, the Stinger, like zip up. I'm definitely wearing that on Halloween.
You
Interesting.
should. Oh, and you should forgo that costume era, be AJ, and then bring Owen along as Big Justice.
No, he'd be the Rizzler.
Now, you got Keegan as the Rizzler, dude.
Yeah, dude. We'll just
But,
have to program them.
he doesn't take much programming, dude. It's
No.
about like 3 shots of wild turkey.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you
He's
want.
like, yeah.
He might be pitching you ideas at that point.
Yeah. Lord
Yeah.
have mercy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've missed quite a bit of sports, and it's probably been a month, 3 weeks to a month since we were able to all get together again.
Mm-hmm. TikTok though has been going off. Everyone
Yeah.
watched the This Week in College Football.
You've been doing good with that, dude. I'm happy to see it, keeping the TikTok alive because I have not posted a clip yet since we got back going. So
Yeah, it's
Gotta-
good stuff.
Got to promote the brand, man.
some way somehow.
Absolutely. So if you haven't seen it, go check out the TikTok at the Lodge Podcast, Lodge Sports.
It's one of those. I think it's.
Let me look.
Yeah,
We
I don't
can't
know.
even tell you our own social
think-
media handles.
I think sports is in there.
It is the Lodge Sports on TikTok.
It might be the Twitter that the Lodge Sports was like taken, so I had to go with the Lodge Podcast,
Yeah.
something like that.
Hey, we talk about profile views, man. That long snapper from Arizona State. We're growing.
We're growing.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, that's the notoriety we've been looking for.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Um,
D1
Also,
baby.
today I would like to shout out Victor Mancini, my buddy from school, New York Ranger, scored his first NHL goal today at
we go.
Detroit
Let's go,
Let's go,
Victor.
Victor.
against the Red Wings. Poetic.
In the hometown.
Absolutely.
Hometown hero. Love to see it.
Do love to see
And
it.
we're
Big
sitting
one for
here.
Victor. Yeah, I made a lot of phone calls today.
Well, let's get into a different mindset now. We've missed quite a bit of sports. So I want to give you guys a little bit of time because obviously we weren't able to following the game to you can rain your fire upon us right now. Say whatever you want to say. Forget about what happened with either team in the following weeks.
I'll start, I guess. We kind of knew what was going to happen, I feel like. I'll start there. I think we predicted this, right? We filmed that
Yeah.
before
As a
the
group,
game.
we all picked the Bucs except
If
you,
I remember
'cause-
correctly, yeah, I hedged against your guys' reverse jinx. I was the only
But-
one to pick the Eagles, but
But you were like, I know the Bucks are gonna win,
yeah,
but I'm just gonna
realistically,
do it.
we all
Yeah.
kind of knew what was going to happen. So I will give you guys credit. You guys, as Eagles fans, you also kind of knew what was going to happen. I mean, Jalen had another bad turnover in the red zone. We've been talking about that. That was an issue. Sirianni you guys will talk about that more than anything else. He's just a joke, not a good coach at all. That team comes out flat every single game. But to talk more about the Bucs, and I'll let you guys talk about the Eagles. I think that was game one of what became now our 3-game streak of first drive touchdowns. It had been like 20
It was like
games,
20
21 games.
more. Yeah, it was 20 plus.
Some ridiculously crazy number in terms of not having a first drive touchdown. So that was like a good little kickstart. That was a cool thing to see. Mike Evans had his best game still to date. Here we are going into week 8 or week 7? That was still his best game against the Eagles there. So I thought that was cool. Baker had a great day, 347 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think he ran another one in there. That was in terms of coming off a bad loss against the Broncos and kind of just like raining fire from an offensive standpoint against you guys. That was good to see. And our offense, at least the Tampa offense, has just been really good this year. And it honestly looks like a completely different team than what we're used to watching these past 2 to 3 years. So that was definitely refreshing to see. Liam Cohen, he'll pull out like 1 to 2 plays a game where you're like, get that out of the playbook, like ASAP. Like that needs to never come out of the play, never be called again. But besides like a few of those plays, I think he's done a great job. And obviously him and Baker have a great connection there. So I think that's really been good. And yeah, it was a good stepping stone for us. I don't think the Eagles are a good football team, however. So not going to put too much stock into it. And obviously, like I said, you guys kind of knew it was coming anyway. So there's not much that I can really do in terms of taunting. So yeah, that's my take on it.
My take is it's always good to beat the Eagles. The Bucs own the Eagles, so it's good just to keep little brother in place every
Don't
time
you
we
ever
get the
call me
chance.
little brother.
You guys are little brother to the Bucs. I mean, like Owen said, I don't think the Eagles are great. The Bucs offense is very good, and it was just two separate football teams at 2 different parts. Going 2 different directions. I mean, there's really not much more you could say about that. The Bucs offense was really putting itself together, and we've seen it the last couple of weeks really continue to grow off of that Eagles game. The Bucs defense was ravaged with injuries, and it became evident the week after that on a short week, which was unfortunate. But I mean, they rebounded this past week, so it's one of those things. But I mean, like, I think Eagles fans probably left with more question marks than they did before. Like, obviously, you knew the coach Sirianni is just a clown. But like, you go and you look and you're like, yeah, we spent a lot of money on Kellen Moore, and what is the product?
Yeah,
I think defensively too. It's like, I know DeJean came in after the bye and he played pretty well, but just kind of like looking around at like You're pointing at the guys that you think are supposed to be, the cornerstones of your program, and they're not playing up to snuff. I think that's kind of where you are probably from the defensive standpoint and offensive standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think I'll let you go. I
ahead.
just want to say like two things about the Eagles, and then I'll let you guys have it. One, from the standpoint of like this was the team that knocked you out of the playoffs last year. Like you would have thought. I know you guys were banged up on the offensive side of the football, but you guys came out flat. I mean, the game was over by what, the end of the first quarter. You guys didn't have a yard gained. Like, how do you, just from an emotional standpoint, what is lacking in that locker room that you can't even get up against the team that just beat you in the playoffs a year before to get 1 yard on offense in the first quarter? And then secondarily, like, and the Bucs have some challenges coming up here where they're going to have to do what I'm about to say here. But like, this is a game. If I was an Eagles fan, that I want to see my team measure up against a team that's supposed to perform well within the NFC. And you left with, like Eric was saying, I think you leave that game and you're like, okay, there's a substantial gap. Like I said, injuries played a part, but there's still a substantial gap between us and what is, considered competitive or having a chance in the NFC. So that was some things that I would be concerned about, at least.
Yeah, you don't want to just pin that game on injuries. Obviously, both teams were feeling the injury bug a little bit. It's that's one of those spots where you want to see like your franchise quarterback step up and just go out there and win you a game, which I have seen Jalen Hurts do. But we might just be at a point now where maybe Jalen Hurts isn't one of those top 5 guys. We've talked about quarterback play being down. Maybe this just is who he is. He, has shown that he can be an elite level quarterback. Even in spurts throughout games, he has yet to put together a full game yet where I, see that 2022 version of himself, kind of see it in flashes here and there. So to the Kellen Moore point in that game, I don't put too much stock into that. You're not really working with a lot. You got Jahan Dotson at wide receiver 1 who didn't even go through training camp with you. But, again, you'd like to see Hurts just kind of carry that weight. And they showed some signs of life as the game went on. And then obviously, Owen, as you mentioned, his turnover in the red zone kind of just killed whatever chance that we had at that point, because that could have made it a one-possession game. And from there, I mean, the defense didn't look good in that game at all, but you don't know what's going to happen, especially when you got your old pal momentum on your side. But to the point of the defense in that game, like that was abysmal, and that was one of the most frustrating games I've ever seen. And that's unfortunately like part of the Vic Fangio scheme. Obviously, he's a great defensive coordinator. He hasn't been in the league forever for no reason. But it's just that bend don't break style, and you let a quarterback like Baker Mayfield get in a rhythm like that early, and he's just hitting easy out routes and letting Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and whoever else get yards after catch. Like, he's going to start rolling, and that's exactly what he did in that game. To start that game out, especially with your offense as decimated as it was, you got to dial up some pressure. You got to get up on their receivers. You have the talent enough to do it. Like, Darius Slay is, as much shit as we give him for Philly fans, he's still a good cornerback. He's probably, going to be going down that hill pretty soon, unfortunately. But you also have young Bucks. You have Quinyon Mitchell, who's shown as a first-round pick that, he hasn't had many growing pains just yet. You still have CJ GJ in at the safety, who has had a rough start to this season.
Felt the ass. That was the game too.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, it was just, and then saying shit like that's gonna be bulletin board material. It's, I don't know. You'd like to see them coming out flat has been an issue going back to last year. In 22, they would go out and they would step on a team's throat, and the game would be over by halftime. Since the start of the 2023 season, we haven't seen that. I don't know if you pin that on coaching. I don't know if you pin that on the personnel, if the players just aren't taking games seriously, if they're taking too long to get into the flow of the game. But, I mean, not counting everything we've seen from the Eagles since then, coming off of the bye and then the Browns game, like, that was just an abysmal showing. It kind of rolled over. I know conditions weren't great. It was, 110 on the field? You were at the game.
It was hot.
It was ridiculous, right?
It was hot.
And obviously, the Bucs have a little bit of an advantage of that, considering that that's their home stadium. They're used to playing in the heat. But at the end of the day, both teams are playing on that, so you can't pin it on just the heat. So, yeah, I mean, we'll get into a little bit more of the Eagles and Bucs and kind of their current state of affairs a little later. But at that point in the season, I wasn't ready to pack in the season. Obviously, I was disappointed in the game and the performance they put out. But you just like to see a little bit more fight at least. Even if you're going to go down swinging. They just kind of rolled over. So
You know, Owen, you said it best. Or actually, let me take that back. Let me rephrase that. You said like we were left with a lot of questions. I feel like we got a lot of answers out of that. Like that offense, like we knew we were gonna lose. Like it was not gonna be, but like to put up that type of effort and that performance is just embarrassing. Jalen Hurts throws a ball like 6 feet right out of bounds when he had Saquon Barkley open on the sideline for a touchdown, and then comes right back to Dallas Goedert, and the ball just hits him in his fingertips and he drops it. Like that's a great way to start a game. Like that's a great way to get some momentum going for the wrong team. And then just if you look, and I'm just going to skip ahead to the Browns game. If you look at AJ Brown's tree route, his route,
Yeah, the routes,
tree.
route tree that he
it
ran in
looked
that
like
game.
a Brian Johnson. It looked like a last year with Brian Johnson. So you know what that says to me? Nick Sirianni. It's Nick Sirianni. This is not a Kellen Moore led offense. We need to get Jalen under center a bit more, run the play action because Saquon's our best threat. We barely give Saquon the ball in the opening drive. We may give it to him once in 3 downs. He should get the ball on 1st and 2nd down. Like, there's no questions asked. Like, Nick Sirianni, if Robert Saleh got fired, he should have been fired after that Bucs game. Like, that is just a piss poor effort. Like, as a coach, that's your job to motivate the team, especially when you're down your star players. Like, his fucking haircut, oh my God. Like, yelling at the fans. I don't care if it was just like the fan like posted saying like, yeah, you told him to run the ball or whatever the hell it was. Like, you don't go yelling at your fans. Like, he's done it before in the tunnel after he's walked in from a game that they won. Like, I know Sean has definitely seen the clip. He's like, yeah, what now? He's like throwing his hands up and he's like being like throwing at shit. It's like you're supposed to have composure and poise as a head coach. You have none of that. You are a fraud. You are a phony. The reason 2022 worked so well is because you stopped calling the plays. Like, our offense struggled at the beginning. Now you're saying like, oh, I put a little input in here, a little input in there. I bet you it's more than a little. It's probably like 40% of the time. Like, Nick Sirianni shouldn't be nowhere near the Philadelphia Eagles sideline right now. He should be so gone. And I'm just saying, like, I'm just gonna have to cut this short because, like, especially if we were doing this right after the Eagles Bucs game, I don't think I would have been able to, or at least you wouldn't have been able to post my response because I've probably just been yelling into the microphone and nobody would have understood a word I said. So, like, I'm like kind of sick of the Eagles. Like, I heard, and don't take me on this, but Deshaun Watson, Bill O'Brien used to call Clemson's offensive playbook for Deshaun Watson because he couldn't understand the NFL lingo. And that's why when Joe Flacco stepped in last year, he went like 5-1 or whatever it was. He had a winning record and he played well. Like, we're talking about a guy who is so stupid that he gets like 30 sexual assaults counts and can't read an NFL playbook and like read a defense. And we are barely scraping out a win. And Vic Fangio, like, I think it was like after week 5, we had like the lowest like pressure rate of like 29% or like calling like blitz rate of 29%. Like, as like we've all said, players are down. We have guys out. We need to blitz. Like, we can't just sit back and give them a 12-yard out route every single time. Like, our edge rushers ain't doing shit. So we got to bring extra guys in to help. And Sean, I hate to say it, Slay's already on that downhill. Like, he's there. And especially like with him talking to Micah Parsons every single week, like, get him out of here. Like, there's no rivalry anymore. There's no competition in the NFL. It's totally not there with the Eagles. So, like, I would say the Super Bowl window's closed. Like, I'm not even like, after 2022, we're like, oh, we have a while. Like, that, not even close to being open right now.
That was incredibly negative, but some stuff I agree with.
Yeah.
Do you think Sean, do you think the Eagles can win the Super Bowl this year?
This year, no.
Agreed.
No.
I agree.
I think they have the foundation there. I mean, it's one of the most talented rosters I've ever seen. Now, I know how that's gone for the Eagles in the past. They had the dream team that went like 8-8 or whatever. But you have a lot of players on that team who went to a Super Bowl 2 years ago. And I I don't know what the answer is. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the smartest guy in the world and I know everything, but I do know that since Shane Steichen has left, there's been a lot of little hints of Nick Sirianni's offense in there, I should say. So,
Well, and
Well,
two, like that year two and then 2022, both coordinators are now NFL head coaches.
Don't
other,
even get me started with Jonathan Gannon.
the other thing that I'll say about the coordinator situation was, the one time we saw Jalen Hurts play at an elite, well, not the one time because he did play pretty well last year for the most part, but his best season was the only year throughout his college and pro career where he's had the same play caller 2 years in a row. So I'm not of the opinion that, like, no matter how bad this season goes, I don't think you clean house. I think that's dysfunction for your players, and they have a new voice coming in every year. It's going to be tough to make anything happen. I don't understand how teams like the Niners have such consistency at the coordinator level. And
It's because it's just Shanahan calling all the plays, and he's like, "You're gonna run this."
I get that, but those are still like voices in the locker room that are the guys are consistently hearing. They're not coming in and getting new input year in, year out.
I think
Those
too
are
that
also
but they
homegrown
yeah, but
guys.
they
come up through
yeah
the
they
system.
promote within. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say like Jack said.
Yeah.
Like when Salah was gone, they hired again within just to like keep that defensive scheme the same.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think like, dude, to a little bit to your point, Mahoney. Here's like, I guess, just an open-ended like thought, in my opinion on it is like, the city of Philadelphia is doing everything it can or you can to protect Jalen Hurts from criticism right now, or like, actual genuine criticism other than just kind of like nitpicking a game here or two. A lot of it is falling on Nick Sirianni, which is well deserved. I'm not saying that it's not. The guy is a fucking goofball. My thing is that Jalen Hurts no longer played at Alabama, was pushed out the back door because he couldn't push the ball down the field and he was, inaccurate and he turned the ball over. Then he goes to Oklahoma and he still has problems with his turnover, right? That's the thing coming out of the draft. It's like, yeah, he turns the ball over a lot. The Eagles shocked a lot of the teams by taking him in the second round. Like, most of the scouts had him rated as like a third, fourth round pick coming out of the draft. Eagles take him in the second round. He then has a, call it
Solid.
18. He has a decent, kind of start, and then he has a good 18 game stretch, right? Since then, we've seen, what's the sample size now? At least 12 games, 12 to 13 games where we're like, okay, he's turning the ball over, especially in the red zone at an alarming clip. He's become increasingly more inaccurate. And we're not getting consistent play. And on top of that, he's butting heads with the head coach. Like I said, a lot of that is probably on Sirianni. I'm not putting that necessarily on Jalen Hurts. My ultimate question, I guess, is what do you guys need to see to like be like, okay, we had a great like magic in a genie in a bottle here for 18 games, but like maybe this is more so him returning to who he is as a professional quarterback.
It's honestly going to take a lot because the only rebuttal that I'll give you is like that sample size wasn't just 18 games. It was like 28 to 30 games. And that's almost 2 full NFL seasons. And I mean, like, even, the overall team performance against Cleveland was not good. But against the number 8 pass defense in the NFL, like, Jalen Hurts played a very good game. He started out like 0 for 5, but then he finished the game, I think, 16 for 20 with 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and played clean. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go out there and do that again every week because he hasn't shown to me over, like you said, probably the last 12 games dating back to last year that he can play consistently at that level again. So it's definitely going to take a lot, and especially, you have to factor in the contract you gave him as well. Moving on from him, and I'm not saying by any means that is like the next move that you should make it, but moving on from him would be a large burden to the team. I think it's just about seeing if he gets consistency within the voices around him, how's he going to perform? And there's a lot of questions going around throughout the Philadelphia sports community as to, like, what's the deal with this offense? Is it really, Sirianni putting his 2 cents in, and that's why these routes are so bland? That's why the motion rate is so low, even with Kellen Moore calling plays? Or is it that this is Jalen Hurts' preference? This is, these are the throws he's comfortable with. This is the offense he's comfortable running. and it's outdated in today's NFL. So
If that's what he's comfortable with, there's no reason we should have ever given him that contract.
I agree.
No reason that we should ever give him that contract. That's a terrible, terrible decision.
But the
Here's what
weird
we need
thing
to
is,
do.
like, we've seen him in offenses that differentiate from this, and that's where he had success. So that's why I'm very tentative on my take on him. Is like it's probably going to take the rest of this year and probably another year after that of similar play to this for me to be like, all right, let's wipe our hands clean, cut our losses here, figure something else out.
I think that's a fair answer. What I'm saying though is when you get when you get rid of Sirianni, in my opinion, now any sort of criticism or the bulk of the criticism has to turn to the quarterback.
Yeah, and I believe.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I think here's what we need to do. We need to bring in a coach that's just going to let Kellen Moore be Kellen Moore. You know, not a lot of people may agree with this. Bring in Bill Belichick because I think Jalen Hurts' personality matches up very well with Belichick's personality. Like they're no nonsense, you know. And then also that way we have another defensive mind to help out our defense and help out Vic Fangio. And maybe who knows, Vic Fangio doesn't come back next year. And then Belichick brings in a guy he likes and they build the defense and they work together. I mean, we really have no chance this year with that defense.
I think if you get rid of Sirianni, though, I think the coordinators are out. Because I think
so.
Whoever you bring in, I think they're going to want to bring in their guy.
It could be that, but also the Eagles at the same time, as much credit as I give their ownership and their front office, they like to pick yes men. They have guys that come in and they're like, hey, you know, we'll listen to your input, but at the end of the day, we're making the decision on the staff that you surround yourself with. They did that with Doug Peterson, and then when he started to give them pushback is kind of part of what led him out the door. So I don't think...
Yeah, that's Chip Kelly's fault.
Yeah,
Chip
you're right.
Kelly.
That's probably Chip Kelly PTSD right there. But yeah, I don't know. There's valid criticism towards Philadelphia's way, and we wanted to ignore it for a lot of last year because we thought that they were just, you know, a little bit of that Super Bowl hangover. But hey, they were still winning games. Now it's gotten to a point where, you know, it's just frustration. And I think Lane Johnson said it. He said this offense feels constipated, and it does. Like, watching it, you're like, there is far too much talent on this field for this offense to not be operating the way it should. And even week one, the offense looked like it should, you know, outside of Jalen Hurts making a couple bad turnovers and a bad snap. Like, that offense was humming. And that's what we expected to see. And then we finally get all our guys healthy back last week. And they, you know, eventually kind of started getting into gear. But for a lot of that game, it was just the same old vanilla nonsense that we've been seeing for the longest time. So they have an easy stretch of games coming up that I think will tell us a lot about this team this year. Right now, they're not a Super Bowl contender, but they have 4 very winnable games coming up. And if you get to 6-2 and you start to kind of look good, then there's optimism there. But until we see that...
And then it's a Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl year.
Yeah, we could talk.
It's a Super Bowl year.
If they hang 50 on the Giants next week, I know the Giants aren't a good team, but if the Eagles do what they're supposed to do and take care of business, I could have a completely different tone when we come back next week.
If you win that game close, though, do you think Sirianni gets fired midseason after a win?
Oh, please. Please.
If we win close, no. If we lose, get like blown out, maybe.
Here's the
issue is
thing.
the players seem to like him. They respond well to him, but they don't play well.
I feel like a lot of it's like player coach talk type thing, though, to the media. Like, no one's gonna be like, "Yeah, I fucking hate my coach."
No, but like even on the sideline, like just seeing like when he was yelling at the fans, like Brandon Graham, who is a legendary Eagle, was like feeding into it, which I
like,
found
yeah,
interesting
fuck
to
them
see.
fans.
Yeah,
pay
yeah,
my
fuck our
salary.
fans.
Yeah, it's
Fuck our
Brandon
fans.
Graham's last year. He's just laughing. He's just laughing. I mean, here's the thing. I can't tell you what the schedule is after the Giants. I know we play the Bengals the following week, but the thing is, I don't think Sirianni gets fired until we play the Cowboys and maybe the Commanders, whoever comes first, maybe both games, because the Cowboys suck. So
the Cowboys are really bad.
Yeah,
so if we like get spanked by the Cowboys like we normally do, we're good for at least once a year. Like, he might be gone. And then if the Commanders for sure spank us, then it's like, oh shit, Jaden Daniels in Washington's coming fast. Like, we can't keep Sirianni. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what
not
I
in
think.
panic mode, burn it down yet, but I'm getting very close.
Yeah, I mean, especially the way the Commanders have ascended uh, to this point of the season. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna like sit here and say that they're the cream of the crop of the NFC East. I think they're still a very like gettable team because their defense is bad. But like, you see them on offense and they're making strides each week to being a better offense. And Cliff Kingsbury calls a hell of a game for what he has. He understands his personnel very well.
He's a coordinator. He had a rough stint as head coach. He had like a couple seasons there where it looked like he was going to be a mainstay, but I think that he would bode very well as like a career OC.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but he's young enough. He'll get another shot, and then it'll crash and burn, and then he'll go back to just being an OC for the rest
Honestly,
of his
if
time.
he got another shot, crash and burn, he'd probably just go back down to college.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I think, dude, being a college head coach sounds like hell.
A nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Especially now, like it was already hell, and like I still would love to fucking do it. But
as a college head coach, like
you
in
wear
NFL,
so many hats.
You can toss blame around to a lot of different places in the NFL. College head coach is the pillar of your program.
Yeah, you are like the face of that school. Like, let's look at like, obviously, I'm like the only like big college football fan. Like, look at Freeman. Like, he has to recruit everyone. You know, everywhere. He's at Notre Dame, huge brand. Like, he is the face of the University of Notre Dame on Saturdays. It's like he goes out there and you lose one game to Northern Illinois, and so now what? They're 5-1, and people are like, this guy needs to be fired. Like, he's like, you're calling for his head instantly. Like, you are like, we need this guy out.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, or Ryan Day. Ryan Day's won, like, I think his career record, I know he's like 1-5 against the top 5, but like outside of that, I think he's like 43-8 or something as a head coach.
Has he beaten Michigan?
Yeah, he beat him
at least
once.
But he has a losing record. Like,
but yeah,
they
but
want
I
him
mean,
fired.
Yeah, exactly. He loses one game a year to Michigan in the past 3 years when Michigan was stealing the other team's signs with a fucking military, with an ex-Marine doing the sign stealing for them to literally know exactly what play Ohio State was going to run, and they're losing games by the first 2 games were close or not close, but last year they lost by a score in the Big House, and everyone's like, Ryan Day needs to go. It's like that, and then you got kids just leaving, like drop of a hat.
NIL has made your entire thing way more stressful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we spent a lot of time there talking Eagles, so let's get into let's talk about the rest of the NFL for this upcoming Week 7. At the time of recording this, the Broncos are spanking the Saints. It is 26-3
Saints
right
are
now.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all. I don't know if everyone had taken the Broncos, but I think just because Rattler's making his second start, I think most people would have leaned the Broncos' way. They do have a better defense.
Their defense is very good.
Yeah.
And they're even without PS2 tonight.
Yeah, I know.
And they are still, like, I'm not going to sit here and say the Saints are some potent offense, but they're not, the worst offense in the NFL. But they definitely fooled a lot of people with that Dallas game.
Oh, yeah.
And now that we know what Dallas is, like,
yeah,
Dallas couldn't stop a runny nose.
No.
Yeah.
Dallas is a bad football team.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just go down the list. The London game this week, Pats Jags. If I'm not wrong, the Jags are in London the next 2 weeks, right?
The London
this is the second week.
This is
their second week. That's correct.
Shaka Khan, move them over.
Yeah, last Sunday was an interesting day for me. I was not totally attentive, but this is I saw a tweet. Somebody was like, "This is the worst thing we've done to England since the Revolution," and
I feel like that comes up every year when the Jags go to London.
Well, we just keep shipping over these horrendous games, and thank God the Bears were there last week to at least have some sort of fireworks for them.
Yeah, no, I mean, shout out to the Bears for like what they've done. Like, the Jags are just dysfunctional.
Yeah, I don't think we had Doug Peterson on our hot seat to start the year, but like We all picked Dennis Allen as the first guy out. It's probably going to be Doug Peterson in 3 weeks.
It was actually Robert Salah, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Did somebody mention Salah at the? I feel like someone said it.
I did.
Like, just like a sneaky. Yeah.
It's one of those things though, where like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here on the table and say that Salah was the best coach in the NFL. Maybe not even top 15 for that matter, but the guy got production from the side of the ball that he led. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he also like he bowed down to Aaron Rodgers when they came. Aaron Rodgers wants Nathaniel Hackett. They get Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett couldn't coach you and me, us four, to go and play a Pee Wee football team and win.
Hey, we're more
to run us
athletic than
over.
that.
I agree, but I'm saying with the coaching, if you gave, we could find some people on the street and they'd be able to coach a Pee Wee football team better to play us than if we had Nathaniel Hackett. Like, and I feel worse for him because when it got to when it came to fruition all at the end, like Salah goes in there and he pretty much makes the demotion of Hackett. And then like an hour later, they're just like, you're fired.
And then
Yeah.
he gets
And then, I
demoted
mean,
anyway.
like, yeah, he gets demoted anyway. They had this new guy being the coach, and they look good on Monday night. I'm not going to say they look bad.
That new coach looks like he should play a football coach in a movie.
He does.
Yeah, he's
it
got
Jeff
the
Olberg?
build for it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they didn't look bad though.
But it's
Yeah,
one of
they
those
did.
things where it's like, I mean, the play calling makes all the difference in that situation. It's not like Salah's calling the offense.
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean, I think we're watching Aaron Rodgers last year too, in my opinion.
He's probably gonna move on to greener pastures.
The Bills got better. They just added Amari Cooper to the roster, a roster that needed weapons for Josh Allen. I don't see a scenario in which the Jets come from 2 games behind to take that division. I don't see a scenario where they necessarily get a wild card spot at this point in time either. I mean, when maybe I'm forgetting, but like when in recent NFL history has firing a coach midseason resulted in a massive upswing turnaround for your football team? Especially with a guy like A-Rod, where it's like you want to win a Super Bowl. Like you bring him in to win a Super Bowl. I don't see that happening. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is last year.
I don't see Super Bowl by any means, but I could see a wild card probably.
Yeah, they could sneak in there.
I think they could. I think it's probably pretty fair. If you look like at the roster, a 6 or 7 seed is probably still up for grabs. Because, like, I mean, Buffalo, Baltimore. I mean, you don't even know what's going on with Pittsburgh. Like, Justin Fields leads you to 4-2, and now you're gonna start Russ.
Yeah, when we get to their game, we can talk about how absurd that is.
Houston, KC, but then everywhere else, it's like your bubble teams would be Chargers, Broncos, Colts, Bengals, Steelers. No, Texans are division winner.
Cincy if they turn it around, but they
And
haven't.
the Dolphins aren't making the playoffs,
No.
so they're not in it. So I mean, like,
Um,
you only got like 4 or 5 other teams that you're really competing with. And I think top to bottom, unless other than like Cincy, you got a better roster than all of them.
So who? I mean, out of this snooze fest, out of Jags, Pats, what are we thinking?
Oh, the Jags. If the Jags lose, I don't know.
You're gonna.
Are you gonna hop on the Trevor Lawrence is
You're gonna be
absolutely
fighting
god
an
No.
army.
wagon?
No, the
It's gonna be
Jags are
tough.
not
If
losing
you're on
this game.
Who's on the
The
wagon
Jags
with
have-
me? I know Owen is. Sean, are you on it?
I'm still bubble.
Dude, all right, train's pulling out the station, bro. You can't hop on. This ain't like college football. You
I
can't
will
do
say-
it, man.
Drake May looked good last week, though.
Hey,
He looked good. So
Jags should win.
Pats
They
are
don't have the jet.
awful.
They don't have the jet lag that the Pats are gonna have because they stayed there for another week. But yo,
That's
Drake May,
my other thing. Like,
he's gonna be.
if you stay, Jack, in London for a week, and another team has to come into London the week of the game, and you lose to a team that is worse than you, You got to look in the mirror.
They might be taking some Brits home
have to
and the
look in-
Jaguars playing just to
Dude,
play.
I'm not playing in the damn game.
I'm just saying, you have to look in the mirror about your Trevor Lawrence stance.
I'm not, dude. He didn't even play bad last Sunday, dude. Like,
Listen, we're not saying he's the worst quarterback in the league.
I'm not either. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback
All right,
by any means either.
Before this
do you
boils
think-
into what it's going to happen, we got to stop. Time out.
Let me just ask one question. One
You
question.
have one question. Era has 15 seconds to answer.
Riddle me this. How many quarterbacks in the NFL right now could get the Jaguars into playoff contention if we started the season over?
Riddle me this.
Probably 0, probably. The team actually sucks, dude. Their defense is awful.
Okay.
Their coach is awful.
That's a Super Bowl winning head coach. Put some
Yeah.
respect on his name.
Dude,
All right.
They were talking about that on PMT the other day. Nick Foles and Doug Peterson as a head coach quarterback duo has got to be the worst head coach quarterback duo to ever win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're lucky
Worse,
Sexy
we don't
Rexy
have to say
Grossman didn't
worse.
win one.
We could say most random. Let's not say worse. It was a
No,
magical year.
worst. I think
worst,
is fair.
worst and most random probably go
Yeah.
hand in hand.
Well,
there.
they won it. All right, next fucking
did.
game. Seahawks Falcons. Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, like, I have a very cheap light that was illuminating me, and as it's gotten dimmer and dimmer because it's so cheap, I'm becoming progressively more yellow.
Looks good.
Is that a
Looks good
problem?
on you. Yellow looks good on you.
Thanks. All right. Seahawks Falcons. Where is
Kirko,
this? Is it in
baby.
Atlanta?
Taking
Yeah, it's in Atlanta.
Yeah,
the
Atlanta
Seahawks,
take is getting a
baby.
little more spicy.
Especially
Seahawks.
after fucking Thursday night
Yeah.
when we got
Hey, listen.
hosed.
Hey, Geno's leading the league in passing yards. He's got DK. He can hit JSN. He can hit Tyler Lockett. He can spread the ball around. Geno's my guy. I ride or die with Geno Smith.
Okay. What, is he like your fantasy quarterback?
Yes, and I have DK.
I would die for a Seahawks victory on.
So would I.
Dude, the Panthers were giving him a game on Sunday for like 2.5 quarters, and I was like, dude, please.
I mean, even more than that, dude. It was a 1-possession game in the fourth quarter, and then Dalton threw a pick, in their own in Atlanta territory. I'm with you. Emotionally, I'm so invested into a Seahawks win. It's not even funny. They've also lost 3 games in a row. So for you to lose 4 games in a row in the NFL, you've got to be a bad football team. And I don't know that the Seahawks, they're not a great football team. I don't know that they're bad enough of a team to lose 4 games in a row. So just playing the odds in that sense, that's basically my best hedge or my best reasoning for taking the Seahawks outside of just being like emotionally entangled with the Falcons losing.
Especially since the Niners are not off to a great start. Like
Right.
they're
No.
still like they can still easily take this division. Like the Seahawks can.
Right.
So
I mean,
And-
with all that being said, I just think Atlanta is a better football team in this game.
I agree, but I just don't want them to win.
Yeah. That's fair. Bills Titans. I don't even think we need to spend much time on this.
No.
No.
One thing I want to say though is Josh Allen having 0 interceptions through week 6 is who saw that coming. I know he's had a lot of like pickable balls, but is
Likes
what
to throw
it is. The guy's
pickable
taking
balls.
care of the ball. Wait, what?
He likes to throw pickable balls.
Yeah.
have you
Yeah.
seen the dude on Twitter who took Josh Allen under 12.5 interceptions, and every week he hasn't thrown an interception? He's just adding Stephen A. Smith on X. He's just like, yeah, what do you think about this, Stephen A? And Stephen A. finally called him out. I was like, brother, it's been 6 weeks. There's a lot of ball left.
Era, actually, that Stephen A. Smith reminds me. I saw, like the other day, he posted. It was like Ask Stephen. And I think we should bring that back.
I'll
How
look
we used
into
to
it,
Open
dude.
the pod with that.
Yeah, I can do that.
It was funny. It was like, what do I do if I clog the toilet at my buddy's house and there's no plug?
Yeah.
He was like, you gotta
Call
call
your
your buddy
friend.
and tell him.
Yeah,
to
he's
call
gonna
his
start
friend."
boiling some water, isn't that right, Jack?
Did you see? Hey! Did you see what J.J. Watt said though on the Pat McAfee show? Because they also brought it up. J.J. Watt said, you just got to stick your hand in there and
That's
just,
crazy.
pull it out. And he's like, maybe wash your hands 3 or 4 times. I'm like, wash your hands. Like, you got to go to like a quarantine and like, they need to like spray you down and like whatever else they need to do.
I'm a big fan of the water boiling method.
Hey, dude, that person that was doing that was obviously not a big fan of sticking their hand down like J.J. Watt. Okay? That person's a little more
The
civil.
yellow.
Yeah, looks good.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Yellow wasn't my color. You were lying.
Yellow, great song.
That is Amarillo.
Amarillo.
Bengals, Browns. Bengals at the Browns. The Browns are real stinky.
Until Jameis steps in.
Are they ever going to do it, dude? Every week?
No,
Stefanski's like,
they're
no,
not.
Deshaun, he's our starter.
Dude.
He's a diddler.
They're doing everything they can to try and stop my boy from shining.
Does Deshaun diddle or does he forces other people to diddle?
I think it's that one, yeah.
Yeah. He forcibly diddles himself.
Diddy Watson?
Alleged.
So, yeah, we're all on the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Cool.
Unless if Jameis comes in, the Browns are winning.
Listen, if the Bengals don't get on track this game, like maybe Taylor also needs to be a midseason fire.
Dude, it's not. Oh, I thought you were talking about the Browns. Never mind.
Maybe.
No.
Taylor.
That could be an interesting one to keep an eye on. I'm gonna start motoring through these just so we can expedite this process. But
I agree.
Texans, Packers. This is a fun one. Texans are going to Lambeau, so I don't know. This could be a sneaky spot. I feel like the Packers are rolling right now a little bit.
I'm taking Packers. Lambeau's a tough place to go in and win.
The Packers also got a rebound after the Vikings game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going Texans. They just got Joe Mixon back. When he was playing well those first couple of weeks, I like him. Diggs, I know they're without Nico Collins, but that means, Tank Dell's got to step up and Diggs just got to shine.
The Texans also, like, in that Bills game, they were for sure going to overtime, and then I don't know what the hell Sean McDermott was thinking, calling 3 straight pass plays from there. Literally just handed them the game. D'Amico Ryans first tried to throw the game away, and then Sean McDermott gave it to him right back. That was insane.
Was it last week that Anderson had 3 sacks? Right? Or was it the week before?
I
watch a lot of football.
Yeah, but I don't know. I know that their defense is probably feeling pretty good right now. I know Will Anderson's probably feeling pretty good right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, they are feeling good. I think I might go with the Packers because they're at home. Like going to Lambeau's tough. But that game could go either way. That's going to be a fun one to watch.
Anti-healing.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Colts, Dolphins. Tua is
Joe.
back.
Give me Joe.
Yeah.
It's A-Rich, but still Colts.
Is A-Rich back?
That's a shame. That's a shame. Never mind. The Dolphins actually might win that game.
And Josh Allen goes back to doing nothing.
Anthony Richardson will stat line will be like 7 for 17 for 90 yards, a touchdown, a fumble.
Yeah, but 190 yards rushing.
I picked up Joe in fantasy for his first start, and he did not disappoint, dude. I wanted them to pull that game out so bad.
Dude.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Dude, Flacco's so fun for no reason. It's just because you're like, damn, like he's the only guy left.
Yeah.
he like low-key turned into like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, a little bit, but he's like everywhere he's gone to, like he's been arguably the best quarterback on that team.
And isn't that what Ryan Fitzpatrick was? Like for the first 3 games, you always knew that Ryan Fitzpatrick was going to put up like 300 yards and 3 tutties.
Yeah, weeks 1 to 4, Fitzmagic, especially with a new team, was electric.
When he was on the Bucs, dude, that was insane. And then that Steelers game happened, dude. I remember Chris Conti getting stiff-armed by Vance McDonald so vividly, and it was like it actually ended the season for the Bucs for that right there. That season
I remember
was
that
ended.
play you're talking about.
Dude, Chris Conti never played an NFL snap after that happened.
Oh, that was good. So are we all on the Colts?
Yes.
Yes.
Lions, Vikings. This is the Vikings fall off spot. I
I
don't
agree.
know how they answer back, but the Lions are an absolute wagon, dude. Like the Chiefs are 5-0 and they're playing well. The Lions might be the best team in the league right now.
Not
I
better than
have
the Bucs.
Not better than the
I have to
Bucs.
say this. You know, I've been a hater on the Vikings at the beginning. You know, I went to their game like week 2 against the Niners, shocked the world. I think the Vikings defense might be the best in the NFL, and I'm taking the Vikings. I think if they cause Jared Goff to force some turnovers, that Darnold plays clean football, throws for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, they'll be fine. Especially if they get Aaron Jones back playing next week or this week.
I'm also like, I think I'm very hung up on, I think it was 2016 when we traded Bradford to the Vikings for that first round pick. They started out 5-0 as well. We're like shocking everybody. And then after the bye week, I think they went like 3-8 and they finished the season 8-8, something like that. So I don't know that obviously I'm very prone to history repeating itself, but I don't know. Things could be different this year. I just think the Lions are incredible. Eagles, Giants. I'm going to pick the Eagles. If they don't come out hot and they don't just absolutely roll this team over. I know we're missing Jordan Mailata. I know we're missing Dallas Goedert. I don't care. The Giants are not a good football team outside of their defensive line. There could be pressure on Jalen Hurts. It doesn't matter. They should realistically not score more than 10 points. And this Eagles offense has to find a way to start putting up like 25, 28 a game. Even last season when they weren't performing well, through the first 12 weeks, they were one of the highest scoring offenses in the league. So figure it the hell out. The Giants are not a good football team. Go into MetLife. Please get a win. Please look good doing it. Please come out healthy because that turf is terrible.
Listen, Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore, when you watch this, when it comes out tomorrow, take my advice. Saquon Barkley needs to have the ball in his hands every single play for that first drive. Run the ball down their throats. He needs to have 100 yards rushing, 30 carries, and 2 touchdowns. He's going to do it. Saquon revenge game. It's classic. We don't have Boston Scott, so we can't rely on the giant killer anymore. Run the damn ball.
Devontae Smith is low-key a giant killer as well.
Yes.
Isn't Boston Scott on the Giants?
No.
Boston Scott plays for the Giants. If he does, he's going to actually get in the game, fumble 3 times, and help the Eagles win.
What the hell? I thought he was a Steeler.
He is now a Steeler. He was I thought he went to the Giants or something like a year ago or something.
Maybe on a practice squad or whatever. Maybe in the offseason.
I'm getting a phantom phone call. There's a landline in my room for some reason.
That's crazy. Landline.
I don't
Calling the
Probably,
goat house.
probably a cold call. It's probably me in my day job.
Did you call me earlier? It's coming through now. Hello, this is Arrow.
With X company.
I mean, this is
Can't
the
say-
longest
can't
phone
say the
call
name?
ever.
No.
Okay, yeah, I'm obviously homer pick. I'm picking the Eagles. I don't know what the rest of you guys want to do, but
I'm picking the Eagles too.
I am as
If
well.
they can't lose this game.
Yeah.
No, one of you needs to pick
Must
the
win.
Bucs. Pick
if
the
they
Bucs.
lose this game,
the
it's
Giants.
officially over. I'm officially done.
If we
Rams,
lose this game,
Raiders,
It's on
Sirianni.
tape. It's on tape. I'm taking Rams. I think the
Yeah.
Rams need to get on track. They need to do it fast.
Why are the Rams sneaky ass? They were the hot pick
'Cause-
in the offseason.
Because
Because
their
they're tackles.
O-line
They're guards.
sucks.
Yeah.
Both their best receivers got injured, and Kyron Williams is like the only good player on the team now.
Yep.
Yeah, they
Their
were playing like third string linemen, like multiple.
Did I see right that Cooper Kupp might be returning this
I
week?
think he's back this week. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, possibly.
And Puka's still out, what, a week or two?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, timetable TBD.
Sorry, you cut out before that. Who are they playing?
The Raiders.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking the Rams.
Yeah. Commanders, Panthers.
Commanders.
I think the Commanders
Commies.
should steamroll them. This would be a really funny spot, though, for the Commanders to start to falter.
Dave
But
Canales.
it's not going to happen. Yeah, can your old boy clutch up for us, Eric?
You never
No.
know.
Put in the phone call.
Canales versus Quinn, the battle of old NFC South. Let's do it.
We have Super Bowl rematch this week. Not a primetime game for some reason. Chiefs, Niners. The Niners.
I think it's the 425 game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be
America's game
Fox
of the
Game
week.
of the week. Yeah. Dude, also, sorry, side note, why is Tom Brady just calling every Cowboys game?
Because the
Because they're
Cowboys
America's team.
go
They
on.
just keep
They
getting
just
game
get
of the week.
people in. Yeah, every week.
It's
Even
so
though they also
ridiculous.
are ass.
They are ass. Like, the only other game I saw him call was our game a few weeks back.
I didn't get to see that one. I was there.
It might have been during that game. He said, like, the most humiliating thing. He was like, if I'm the Eagles, I'm just thinking about how can I get a yard.
Yes, that's what it was.
It's so
But
deflating.
can I just sidetrack on that? Why did he decide to buy the Raiders of all organizations? Like, he didn't go to Robert and just be like, "Yo, Rob, slide me 5% of the pad."
It's that,
Or
and
like the
obviously we've
Bucs.
all seen his restrictions now with being an owner. He can't criticize the refs. He can't, what is it? He can't, like, speak ill of other teams or something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, is he going to be a handicapped announcer? Because if he is, just find a way out of
Yeah.
that contract.
Well,
buy
that's
him out.
probably why he bought the Raiders, or he went into the Raiders then, because they're so irrelevant right now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. This is a fun game. The Niners are, like, odd this year. They've shown the team that they've been for the past few years, but then there's other times where they look very pedestrian. I know they're riddled with injuries all the time, but honestly, quite a few teams are at this point, and they kind of are every year. But the Chiefs just keep finding a way to win ball games, whether it's an ugly win or not. So I think I'm just gonna roll with the Chiefs again. I know the
I
Niners
agree.
definitely need this game more, but
I'm taking
I
the
think-
Chiefs.
I think I'm gonna take the Niners
that's fair. But
just because I'm like the Niners. The Niners need this game, like you said. The Chiefs haven't really given me anything to like write home about. They just win games, so I give them props. But
and Mahomes is not been
not
himself
playing
this
well.
year.
No.
Yeah, he and Jalen Hurts' turnovers are pretty similar. So
Yeah,
So
But,
Jalen Hurts is basically Patrick Mahomes.
Jalen
Is what you're
Hurts is
saying?
Patrick Mahomes.
yes, without the Super Bowls, which is kind of a key factor.
Why'd you say
But
that? Don't say that. Just say Jalen Hurts is
um,
Patrick Mahomes. That's a quote card I'm gonna put out.
okay, but the emergence of Xavier Worthy is going to continue happening, which I think will elevate the Chiefs' offense for later in the season. Rice isn't coming back this year, is he? Maybe they said maybe, but even for the future, like getting Worthy involved now, building that connection. Kelsey's coming back. After he got traded to my fantasy team, so everyone, all the Chiefs fans can thank me.
Is he
But
washed?
yeah, going Chiefs.
Is Travis Kelce washed?
No, the 2 games I got him, he popped off.
They started
Two
to get the
games.
ball thrown to him
Yeah.
because Rashee Rice is out.
Yeah, I called up Mahomes, and that's why he took out Rashee Rice's knee.
Did you call up Jalen Hurts? Said, "Hey, brother, you're Patrick Mahomes."
Jets Steelers.
Jets.
I'm
Jets
taking
need
the
this
Jets
one.
too. Steelers are fucking up their mojo. We mentioned
Yeah.
this earlier, but why are you taking Justin Fields out?
Yeah,
Are you
I
trying
said
to
that in the
mail in
beginning.
this season. Are you winning
Yeah, I
more
said
than
that
you
in the
wanna
beginning of
be?
the season. Like, if they're winning, keep him in. Like, he's 4-2. Like, Russell Wilson is going to take a nice little ride straight to the bottom of the AFC North. Like,
And most of all, like, Justin Fields is taking care of the football. And Russell Wilson, the past 2 years in Denver, I know he put up, good-looking stats last season, but he's been putting the ball in harm's way, and that has been kind of contrary to the rest of his career, where he was pretty well known for being very smart with the football, even if he wasn't putting up flashy stats.
yeah, and people are saying like, "Oh, Fields isn't having enough passing yards." Well, that's what we said he's just not going to be able to do. It's going to be ugly wins. Like, I'm going to argue that last year and 2 years ago, like the Broncos' skill position players are better than the Steelers. Outside of, like, you got George Pickens, but that's pretty much it. Najee, and Jalen Warren's a nice, like, average complimentary back. So, like, I think if Russ puts up the same numbers, like, what are you going to say then and you lose? Like, flip the script. Go back to somebody who can actually add, like, value on the ground with their legs and has been playing well. And the team, I bet you, wants him over Wilson.
I just read a report about that, yeah. Apparently
George
Steelers
Pickens
locker room was upset by it.
has also been talking out of his ass.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
That was a real statement that he said about Amon-Ra, right? Do you see what he said?
No, I did not.
He called him like a slot merchant.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
like,
yeah.
like I'm not putting up these stats because I'm not a slot merchant like a guy like Amon Ra who's just getting fed the ball. That's crazy.
Yeah, as Amon-Ra is one of the best route runners in the NFL.
Yeah, George Pickens thinks he's like a top
Him?
tier receiver. Yeah, and so do Steelers fans. They think he's outrageous. He's good.
He's fine. He's
Yeah.
not. I don't think he's even like good.
Yeah, he's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be different if he had like Big Ben as his quarterback and like Ben's prime, but like
It'd also be
Yeah.
different if he didn't get a personal foul every single game.
Yeah.
yeah,
Dude, speaking of
the brain
personal
cells
fouls,
aren't there.
what's up with dudes just like fake shooting guys these days?
Unloading the clip.
It's insane. I think
Shotgun to
South
the
Carolina
face.
one was the funniest
Dude,
thing of all time.
no, dude. And then they used the picture of the guy the week of the Alabama game. It was like
Yeah.
Alabama, and they had like Jalen Milroe, and then the others in South Carolina. It's just the picture of the guy with the
Yeah.
Celebration goes hard, but you can't pretend to murder somebody on the field.
No,
It's
the
not
best
how-
was the you guys see the clip for it was like Division II Grand. It's from Michigan, Grand Valley State and Davenport. And the guy like breaks up a pass. He has the seatbelt, and like as the receiver's walking away, he like reaches in, just pulls out, just
That's so absurd.
just.
All right. I see you put on your hat because you know what game's coming up next. Owen just got up, so I guess me and Jack will give our 2 cents, and then we'll go to you, and whenever Owen gets back. Bucs Ravens, dude. I don't know. It's tough to pick against you guys right now. However, what are the Ravens on a 4-game win streak?
Yeah, it's gonna be
No, playing in Tampa.
two good offense, two good offenses.
Yeah, playing in Tampa is gonna play a factor, but luckily for the Ravens, are playing at night, so the heat won't be as bad. It'll just be some humidity there. Well, actually,
Yeah.
aren't you guys in a little bit of a cold spell right now?
We are. It's been
We are.
cold here,
It's been
dude.
nice, dude.
Yeah, it's
But
been
that
great.
might not be nice for your team. You might not have the heat factor there.
I mean,
Yeah, we'll see.
nights in
This-
Tampa, Monday night, the low is 68, so probably back in the 70s. So it'll be
Yeah.
nice.
Hey,
Nice
listen,
to watch the game and not sweat my fucking ass off
Yeah.
like
This
a
is
1
game comes
o'clock
down to-
against Philly.
this game comes
probably
down
my
to two
game of the
players.
week.
Really? You think so?
I think
This
it's
game
gonna
comes
be a
down to
really
two
fun
players.
game.
It's Derrick Henry versus Vita Vea.
Dude, the Bucks are going to do
Who
everything
stops
they
who?
can to stop. Derrick Henry will not have a great stat line, but Lamar Jackson will have a great stat line.
It's
Yeah,
going to be
I agree.
interesting to see how Todd Bowles decides to attack Lamar Jackson because we know Todd Bowles is like so aggressive with the blitz. But if, one guy doesn't execute properly and gives up a gap, Lamar's taken off.
We love to give up scrambling yards to quarterbacks.
And that does not bode well for this game. And that is not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons I'm picking the Ravens. I'm against you guys this week.
Likewise.
The Ravens also are the 31st against the pass. So we're going to see a lot of points, I think, here.
I agree.
Mike Evans is in a DNP, did not practice today.
What's wrong with him?
Nagging leg injury from the Eagles game, I
You
think.
got to hate those nagging leg injuries.
But it's like one of those things where it's like, even I think if he doesn't play, like the Bucs are just bringing the juice off the edge. Even in the running game has just got some life randomly here. Sean Tucker is my guy. He's been my guy
Yeah,
for
what
the last
happened to-
couple of years.
What happened to Bucky?
Bucky was balling, dude.
Yeah, he was great. He had a great game last
Not-
night.
Not like
combined.
Sean Tucker was balling.
Yeah, he was. I mean, no one was balling like Sean Tucker, dude. Sean Tucker. I've been on Sean Tucker for the last 2 years. Ever since I started seeing him tweet. I mean, the guy was going to be a second-round pick in the draft, but they found like a heart condition thing that he had, so he went UDFA. Like, he was a dog. He was All-American, All ACC. Like, dude was a dog in college. Like, he was going to be a top 3-round pick at running back, and I'm glad
Yeah.
he's finally starting to see the field. I mean, it's weird because it's like I think every Bucs fan has a favorite running back, and it's like you pick your poison because they're all so different from each other.
Yes, they are.
You
Like-
have a lot of different guys you could throw in that backfield. Like Bucky runs hard, dude.
Bucky runs. He's like a stop on a dime guy. When you watch Sean Tucker run, it's like watching he's got a little Nick Chubb to him, and Rashad White's kind of like that all-purpose, but he's just not fast.
Yeah, he's slow.
The only bad thing
Great
I've seen
receiving
Bucky
back.
do was that fumble against the Falcons. Other than that, I feel like every time
Yeah.
he's touched the ball, it's been sparks.
But dude,
I'm
I
a fan
mean,
of his.
you can't fumble the ball. It's
It
funny.
was a
So
good punch though. That was a very good punch.
well, we were texting that game, and it's like the third quarter. It's like me, Owen, and Sal, and I'm like, this game, you got to put this game in the veterans' hand. I was saying it the whole second half.
Sounds like
and-
your guys' de facto third Bucs fan.
Yeah.
It's like Jake's our de facto third Eagles
Yeah,
fan.
yeah.
But Sal actually watches the games.
Yeah, he does. He does. Jake,
But
on the
we're
other
like-
hand, is not.
Yeah. We're sitting there in the chat, and I'm like, you gotta finish this game with Rashad White. I'm like, Rashad White is gonna win this game for you. And Bucky Irving was running the ball well, but it just came down to the point where he gets it punched out. I'm like, Rashad White will not get that ball punched out there. I was like,
I mean, it's not like he was like being overly careless. Like I said, it was a great punch out, but I think you're right. Like Rashad White also having a little bit more experience is probably two hands on the football there, tucking it in.
I don't know. The way Sean Tucker carries the ball just worries me. Like, you watch it and it's just kind of out there. Like, I mean, granted, I've never tackled him personally.
You
but,
ever watched LaShawn McCoy and Michael
Yeah,
Vick
I
run
was
the
just
backfield
thinking
at
that.
the same time, just palming the football as 10 guys run them down?
Yeah, but you see, Bucky Irving is not yet LaShawn McCoy or Mike Vick to be able to do that. Whenever you watch him on TV and he's running the ball and it's like out here, I'm like, dude,
Yeah, let's just put
he's
it this
asking
way.
for it.
Jalen Hurts showed you why nobody else besides Vic and McCoy could do that, because he got it batted out of his hands, I think, like twice already this season doing that.
So are you guys both going with the homer pick? And me? and
Yes.
Oh
Chris
yeah,
are-
I'm
are-
taking the Bucs, dude. I think that we can score with anybody, and I think, like I said, I think Derrick Henry will be contained for the most part. I think especially. I mean, like KJ Britt. This is a KJ Britt game. Like, that guy cannot cover me or you, but he will go downhill and thump somebody. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited, man. I'm gonna be watching this game definitely over the next game. I mean, I'll have them both on, but I'm gonna really be paying attention to that. But Cardinals, Chargers.
I am going to
Chargers.
take the dude. I don't know.
I'm gonna pick the Chargers too. I wasn't making that noise because I didn't know who I was picking. I was making that noise because I'm not very excited for this one.
No, I don't think it would be a fun game to watch.
Now we're saying this, and now it's gonna be fucking fireworks, and the Bucs Ravens is gonna be a defensive slugfest. But
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I really like the Cardinals just because, like, they're fun, but, like, and the Chargers is not fun.
well, the fireworks are. Shots,
But explosives.
That's
But,
the
dude,
weirdest interaction of all time.
I think I'm gonna take the Chargers just for the fact that I don't think Jim Harbaugh actually had an arrhythmia over the weekend. I think he actually just shit his pants.
Bro, this is not a Paul Pierce situation.
No, dude, he went to the locker room and came back with different colored pants on. That doesn't happen when your heart just skips a beat randomly.
Maybe it does. Maybe
Bro,
his heart
maybe
skipped a
it's-
beat
yeah,
and let a little
exactly.
poop slip.
They called John Harbaugh out of the presser, and it's like, John, we need you over here. And it's like, John, Jim just shit his pants.
He's like, John. He's like, your brother is something's going on. You gotta call him, dude. But, like, when he came
He's
out,
like,
with that
dude, I'm
with a
wiping
different.
Dookie off my leg.
No matter
Wait.
what, his answer was awesome when he came back. He's
When
like,
he
I'm gonna have to die to
Die.
come off that sideline.
When he came out and they showed the video, like, I didn't see it in person because I was watching other games. But when he came out of the tunnel and there's a different colored pants on, I was like, dude, there's no way.
Twitter was on fire that day, though. Like, only the Chargers would have a coach injury on the sideline. Head coach, nonetheless. But
We didn't address it, but just to go back to the weekend review, Aiden Hutchinson, get well soon.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
get
sucked to
well
see.
soon.
That
That
was
sucks.
so gnarly. Like, not only the normal, like, still image everybody had of his leg snapping, but the slow-mo after when he's, like, on his back and his leg is just dangling was
Oh,
disgusting.
gross. It was
Dude,
so
when you
bad.
see it on contact, just
Oh,
Yeah. That, like, the dangle reminds me of the Paul George one. Like, I just remember I was just, like, happening to turn on the USA scrimmage, and it just snaps, and you're like, oh, my God. And you just see it wobbling,
was
like,
so
back
gross.
and forth.
well, like, in person, you didn't, like, you're obviously not looking at their legs. Like, you're like, oh, like, it looked like a routine play, and then you saw it, and I, like, watched the right leg, And I saw the left leg, and I was like, oh no.
Like the bottom half of his leg is just not hanging
Attached.
at all. It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Well,
Oh.
apparently that's what happened with one of the players tonight. Like they put on like a vacuum cast, so apparently it's just like it's not only like the ligaments that they're worried about; it's like the bone too. Is like everything's like fucked.
Wait,
So
somebody
I
got
can't
hurt
remember
in the
which.
game tonight?
Yeah, so like they took him immediately to the X-ray room. They probably went to the hospital tonight. I'm not sure since
Oh.
we started filming. So, you know,
Yeah.
get well soon. I can't remember who he was, but yeah.
Damn.
Bro, with shit like that, it's like you got to worry about getting like your leg amputated.
That's what happened
Like
with
that
Alex
is,
Smith.
yeah,
Like,
it's like gnarly.
he had like
Ugh.
what, like 20 surgeries or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dude, some of my friends work at like a golf course like kitchen, and they were talking about the Lions game, and this one girl's like, "Yeah, he'll be back a couple weeks." Like, did you see it?
Yo.
I was like, you're gonna have like a peg leg.
That's not
Rub-
even
rub-
a lack of ball knowledge. You're just lacking knowledge.
You're
yeah,
just lacking seeing his leg.
Rub some dirt on it, sport. Get back
yeah,
out
yeah.
there.
Literally.
She was like, "At least there's no ligament damage." Like, brother, his leg was literally snapped in half.
Oh god.
Well, as we're doing this, let's see, did the Saints wrap up?
Did we-
They over-
Yeah.
Did we pick the
33-10.
game actually for this?
What'd you say?
Did we actually like all say our picks? I can't remember.
Yeah.
we all picked the Chargers.
Yeah. Good.
Um,
Cardinals.
Guard-
I hate the Cardinals.
Guardians just made it a series against the Yankees. Mets are
cares?
down.
Let's go.
big right now. It is 10-2.
Who cares?
I'm hoping for a successful hate watch here.
Oh, so
If
we're
it
talking
ends
about
up being
playoff baseball?
Dodgers, Yankees, I would actually like.
Yeah, it'll suck.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I
it's
mean,
better
I don't
than-
really care as is.
Better
The
than
only
Mets,
like
Yankees.
saving grace I was thinking if the Mets did advance was that hopefully they would lose to the Yankees coming out of this, and then like they would just face that much more heartbreak.
Losing
Yeah.
to
Like,
Big Brother
Not
in the
only
World
losing
Series.
in the World Series, but you lost to the Yankees in the World Series. Like
Yeah.
I don't care. It could be any one of the teams left as long as it is not the Mets. I'm happy.
I'm
Frank
from
the Tank
Michigan,
might actually
so,
like keel over and die.
so I'm not. I mean, like, I'm not a Tigers fan, but like seeing them in it was cool because like
They
they were
had a
they
cool
were a
run
feel
there.
yeah they were a feel good story, like
Scooball
Hot.
is insane.
hottest team in baseball, and then it just came down 2-1, up 2-1 in the series in that grand slam. I didn't watch a lick of Game 5 because it's on a college football Saturday, and I had to watch literally every game that wasn't baseball on my TV.
Yeah.
But
Listen, I'll say this about the MLB playoffs. Hey, Mark Vientos, like, God, I hope that guy is just like a playoff one playoff wonder, and you never hear of him again. Because if I have to see this guy for the next 10 to 15 years, I don't know how I'm going to be able to handle it because he just absolutely just destroyed us. The Phillies. The fact that we're bringing back the entire coaching staff, like I want to bring Rog back. Kevin Long has to be gone. I want the Yankees to blow it because I want Juan Soto. So, like, the Yankees advanced. It's not good. So, I hate to say it. I'm rooting for the Dodgers to win it all, or the Guardians, obviously. But, yeah. I mean,
brother,
but the Guardians
you're
can't do
thinking
it.
about acquiring players. I'm thinking about acquiring a stadium to play in next season.
We are not the same.
Rest in
Yeah.
peace to the Trop.
Oh, dude, it's sad. I got pieces of the roof.
You really
went-
did?
Did you
That's
actually?
awesome.
Yeah, you want to see them?
So,
Yes,
let's see
please.
him. Let's see his. Look at this, dude. Is this our first artifact?
Yeah, this is cool.
What do we talk about while he's gone?
Let's
I
just
wonder,
talk
like, did he
about
just
it.
like walk by and pick it up off the street, or
He
was
had
it
to
like he had to be like
No, he
ushered in?
definitely did. He definitely.
I had
Look at that.
I had another piece, but it fell behind my TV stand.
Wow.
This is the
Stream
Tropicana
it.
Field.
How do we know that's legit?
Yeah.
I was there.
You went
I
to Home Depot and bought a white tarp. and put it
Yeah.
up.
Did you? Did you not go to like the authenticator?
No.
Like they have to like
I mean,
the home run balls.
I know people that could authenticate it for me. So
There you
Dude,
go.
how much you selling that for? Are you gonna like frame it like and put it above like your mantle when you get a house and just like that's your centerpiece and
You
you're
should
like,
go
wow,
get a
like
piece
that's
of
my
that
prized
crane that
possession.
fell too.
dude, I saw the building that got hit by that crane. That
Got
thing was
messed up, dude.
smoked.
Yeah, it was fucked.
I saw people online. They're like, "Why didn't you take the crane down?" It's like you have no idea what goes into taking a crane down.
Crane down, yeah.
Yeah.
But, all right,
Let me
boys.
see. I have a picture. This was me at the Trop with the
Oh, all
pieces.
right, all
Yeah.
right.
So
Touche.
How do we
there
know
it
that's
is.
the? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Starting bid
it's not
$1,000 for that piece.
But yeah, I went to the
It's
Trop.
conveniently out of focus.
Yeah, there was. I was there. Ground zero.
All right, boys. It was a
All right,
fun one.
fellas.
I know, we keep saying we'll try and get more consistent, but yeah, you
Life happens.
really never know. 2 hurricanes.
Yo,
in a
like,
row
share, and
don't normally
subscribe if you
happen,
want
so-
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Follow us on TikTok. That's where we're most active.
Yeah, we are most active on TikTok. Shout out Era to running that. Been a good one. Thanks, everyone
ya.
listening. Thank you, boys. Take care.